good morning, good morning. Happy Figured Out Friday. How we all doing today? How we all OMG. Is that Devin? Is that Devin over there? Good morning to you over there in Arizona. Good morning. Good morning. I got Hunter's driving. Hunter, 10 and 2, please. Keep it at 10 and 2. Don't be doing anything crazy. No speeding to work. I'll talk to Jay. You know what? I always find it very fascinating. Okay. I don't know where y'all live. Well, I know where most of you live, but like I always find the Hove lane very interesting when it's time to go to work. Nobody's in a rush to go to work. They are like, you know what? I'm just sitting in this lane. I am not going into the speed lane. They just sit right there in traffic when they're going to work. But boy, oh boy, when it's time to come home, everybody's in that HOV lane. Everybody's in that HOV lane. What up, Paul, Wendy, David? What up, brother from Nashville? James from Nashville. Brittany from Nashville. We got a lot of Nashville people on here. And I have a feeling it's our special guest that we have today. So I'm very excited to have Amanda here. We're going to bring her on here very shortly. What up, Michelle? Good morning to you. Jackie, Monica, good morning. Latrice, good morning to Latrice over there. So say good morning in the chat. Dee's got little Wrigley with her. Look at that. They're traveling down to Florida to see Danny. What up, Kastner? Put good morning in the chat. Put good morning in the chat. Put FIOF. Figure it out Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Whatever you want to do. What up, Jada? Good morning to you, Dusty. Good morning to everybody on here. My name is Coach Brock Zevan, life coach, business coach, real estate coach, and a DAD. And Danny, it is a DAD weekend. My 13-year-old, I think it's official. She doesn't like me. She does not like me, and I am just having to deal with it. I had one of those moments or for the dad moment of dad, I get a text first thing in the morning. Not like good morning, not how are you doing? Hope you have a great day. Dad, do I really need to come on over there today? Can I just stay with mom? And it's just like, all right, here it begins at 13 years old that they just don't. And unfortunately, in the divorce world, it's like picking sides, going through it. Who's going to be more stubborn, me or her, and all that little fun little stuff. But I'm getting through it. I said a little prayer to God this morning to help me out and go through that type of stuff. How many of you, not, it doesn't have to be a divorce, but put a 5 in the chat that sometimes you just got some really hard life decisions that you don't have the answer for yet. Put a 5 in the chat. If you got some hard life decisions that you really don't quite have the answer yet, and you're praying about it, you're thinking about it. And today's guest all is somebody that was one of those, Amanda. So, as you know, Nashville, or some of you don't know, how I met Amanda literally was in her kitchen. Was the first time I met her, literally in her kitchen. And so Gary came to he was on the panel. And so, as you all heard my story of how I met Gary Ashton, the number one Remax company in Nashville, in the United States and in the world. And so when I try to find panelists to be on my summits, I always want to go after number one, and I want to know what the hell they do, how they do it. And so I just started Instagramming Gary, and next thing you know, him and I had a great conversation. Amazing people. And he comes to the summit. He's on my panel. Next thing you know, he's talking to me. He's like, yo, hey, I want you to come speak with my team. Could you come speak with my team? We got it. And I'm like, yeah, sure. When? Next week. I was like, oh, okay. I'll be here next week. He's like, we'll fly you up and you can stay at my house. Stay at your house. I was like, okay, I just met you, but sure, I'll stay at your house. And so I go to their house and I got in late and they were all sleeping. I met her son, but I didn't see Amanda until like the next morning as I like, first of all, I scare the whole family because I freaking get up early in the morning. I go for a walk. The dogs start barking. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to kill me. They're going to be like, who is this guy that's getting up early and just like barking the dogs? And I was so embarrassed. So I get there and then I get from my walk and here comes Amanda. And I was like, oh, hi, how are you? My name is Brock. Nice to meet you in the kitchen at 6 o'clock in the morning. and all. We had the most amazing conversation for the next 30 to 40 minutes. And we talked about anything and everything. And it was just one of those things all that I said to myself, damn, like I love strong, powerful women who continue to grow, adversity challenges. And I'm hearing her story. And I said, I'd like to have you on my podcast. Would you be interested? And just as anything, she's just like, yeah, I would love to. And so that's literally how it all started in her kitchen that I met her. Amazing family, just so blessed and thankful to be able to meet these people and for them to open up their house and just really been really, then we had the Nashville, we had the ice storm and everything else that took place. And just it's just amazing how God aligns us up. So guys, do me all a favor. Put some hearts in the chat. Put a 10 in the chat to show her some love. Please welcome Miss Amanda. Good morning, Amanda. How are you?
I am wonderful this morning. You're getting me up early. We're on a different time zone. So uh, every time I meet Brock, he's like, girl, get up early, get up early. Uh,
Yeah, that's right. Central time. So, yes, I appreciate you being here with us an hour early for all our central folks. Thank you so much for getting up early. I appreciate it because it's a balancing act because, you got the young kids still, and Gary's trying to get himself together, and you got the dogs and everything else over there. So, thank you so much for being on the show this morning.
I like it. It's motivational to get me out of bed instead of doing an extra hour of rest. I got to get up and get going.
Well, a lot of people met your husband at this summit, and but they haven't really met you. I've been blessed to be able to meet you. Some people on here have met you, but for those who haven't, give us a kind of a 10,000 overview of you and who you are today.
Well, I guess the main thing is, as you always say, you're a dad first. I'm a mom first. So I've worked my life to be sure that no matter what I'm doing, my family comes first. And I'm very fortunate to have married Gary, and he also has the same vision and view for our family as I do. And it's always good to have a partner that will back you up and support you and do everything. So, number one, I'm mom first, and we do an online private school. So they are home all of the time or when they're not at their other activities, skating and dancing and fencing and doing all of their things, they're here with us learning, and it gives us the ability to travel around the country, around the world, and to give them that benefit as well. So that's the first part of who I am, is being a mom. My children are from a previous marriage, but that's kind of how I got into real estate. Is I was going through a divorce. I had a grandmother who had been in real estate my entire life, not her entire life, but my entire life. And I would go with her when I was a kid to open houses, and I thought she was the coolest person in the world, and she really was. And she is still to this day at her brokerage known very well for who she was and what she promoted and how she lived her life and what she did for everybody else. And so I was like, that's what I've always thought about doing. So why don't I just go for it? At the time, I had no money, none at all.
Mm,
And
yes, know that feeling.
yeah, like a bank account that was at $7, and wondering when I was going to be able to put gas in my car to even do showings or anything like that. I briefly joined another brokerage when I very first started. I knew somebody that worked there. They were super nice people. They did not have the training or the mentors or the things that the Ashton Real Estate Group provides. I met a few girls at a ethics class that you have to take, and as I was talking to them at lunch, at the lunch break, they asked me, where do you get your leads? And this is not a
The
joke.
infamous question, the
Yeah,
infamous real estate question.
and I said, what are leads? And I wasn't joking. I was serious. I didn't know how to find, if I had gotten a contract, I didn't know how to write it. I didn't know. I'd taken the classes. I was working with somebody, and I was just trying to figure it out. And I wasn't doing great on my own. We were door knocking. It was a very humbling experience. You know, it was probably July when I started door knocking, and I would be just in your cute outfit, just sweating through the neighborhoods, knocking on doors. And then when I had questions, I
Well
didn't really
done, though, knocking on doors. Guys, give her some fives. They're knocking on doors. Everybody's usually
have.
scared shitless to knock on doors.
I was scared, but I felt like I had to do it.
Yeah.
So one of the girls said, the ladies, women, she said, well, you should talk to our broker. She's like, you would do great there. And so it took me about 3 times of talking to Deborah Beagle, who's our managing broker and very, very good at what she does. And I finally decided that would be the place that I should go. I was still very scared, but I was listening to a book called You Are a Badass. And
Oh, yeah.
I just used to let that play in my car all day over and over. And the basis is if you're given an opportunity, you should take it. If you don't have
Mm.
enough money to take it, you should still take it. If you'll figure that part out later. So that's what I did. I knew that I didn't necessarily have money to pay office fees. I was kind of at a place where I couldn't afford it, but I thought, well, if I put this on a credit card,
Mm.
when will I pay it? Can I pay it? And so that's what I did. And it took quite a bit of time to sell a house. It was, quite a while ago, so the market wasn't raging, it wasn't spectacular, but I joined the team and I decided that I would give it 6 months because 6 months of education
Mm-hmm.
could lead to something. It took me 4 months to sell a house, and
Wow.
it was a $60,000 house. So I made about $400. And but after I sold that one, it was almost just like everything that I had been putting into place for those 6 months just tumbled right down. So after that, I sold 10 houses in the next 6 months. So my first year I sold 10 houses, and after that I never sold less than 15 until I decided I didn't want to sell more than 15 anymore. And so I was able to, by taking the time to learn, joining a team that had mentors in place that could be helpful, classes, a boot camp like nothing I've ever seen before, um, or since. And that's important too, because now I've been doing it for a long time and I've never seen a better education program. When I look at how I started. Before I started real estate, I was a stay-at-home mom for 6 years. So I didn't really have very many skills to fall back on. Prior to
Mm-hmm.
that, I had worked in pharmacy and I'd considered going to pharmacy school. But pharmacy school, by the time that you leave it, because it's very difficult to work during pharmacy school, people do it, but it's very difficult, especially with kids. You usually leave with about $300,000 worth of debt. And then
Mm.
you begin your career in debt. And then you are, of course, you still have all of your other bills to pay. So you don't come out of that debt sometimes for 20 years or more.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, rather than doing that, let me use this 6 month time of making very little or no money and see if I can survive and see if I can make this work. And obviously I did. I made it work. And
Uh,
um,
I love it. I want to break down a couple things from you on what you said here for those that are taking notes. First and foremost, Sherry, thank you for putting in the badass audiobook that is in the link for those that are listening to it. I wrote down this: you don't know what you don't know. So when you said like what are leads, like you go in some environments, all that you don't know what you don't know, but that's what you have to do is you have to go into environments, whether it's a class, whether it's a mentorship, whether it's a boot camp. Like you don't know what you don't know until you get, I wrote down this exposure, because the lack of exposure holds you back because you don't know. If you just stay in your house the whole time, if you don't talk to anybody, all you know is your house, the dog, and that's it. You don't know any, or maybe your neighbors. But that's why exposure is so important. That's why the Zoom and getting into these type of like groups, it's just like, wow, I had no idea. So I really love that. But this was something I really wrote that I really liked what you said. I listened to the Badass book several times, two times, three times, every day, constantly, because those are repeated affirmations that you put in your head. Because we talk about being a badass, we talk about being, that person that you vision you to become. That you're, as I use the line with my mom from my mom, like, when I was young, my mom used to buy me a T-shirt a size or too big for me, and she would say, "That's so you grow into it."
Mhm.
And sometimes in our life, we have to have a vision and affirmations of what we need to grow into. And we want to have those type of ideas and thoughts bigger so we can grow into it. And that's what you did. And it really resonated with me and how you grew into that and how you took chances, because sometimes in life, all we don't have it all put together. And I loved your skills. And you also, she said this, 6 months. She gave herself a time limit. She didn't say 6 hours. She didn't say 6 weeks. She gave it 6 months. And then I wrote down this, the Chinese bamboo tree, because at first you didn't get it and you kept working and you kept your skills and you kept applying and you kept learning and you went to boot camps and you kept going. And it wasn't until that one moment, and then I didn't sell less than 15. And that's what's the Chinese bamboo tree. So hats off to you in going through that. And so what I took, and you can comment on what I said here, anything that you want to follow up with, but wanted to dive into, like, who did you become during those 6 months? What type of person on the inside? On the outside, you became a real estate agent that sold 15, that did 15 homes. But on the inside, who is the person you were becoming?
Well, I think for one thing, I started off obviously with a lot of fear and anxiety because it was a new thing. I was also getting divorced, and that was a new thing. And I had two little children, and that was a new thing. So on the inside, I was definitely not confident. I was not necessarily certain that I knew what I was doing. Oftentimes, I had two, at least one, most of the time, two little kids in the back of my car, even for showings and listings appointments. For years, I did that. And I would think, I just have to do it anyways. And we'll figure out where we're going to go from there. And I would tell people, I can show you that house at that time, but my children will be here. I always had to meet with those people prior to. So I had to do a lot of extra legwork because I didn't want to take my kids around people that could be dangerous. So I always had to have a coffee meeting or a meeting prior to going to places with my little kids and all of that while I was working. And that it was scary. It was definitely scary. But by the time that the 6 months had ended, I had pretended well enough that I was a very experienced, very confident person that I eventually became a very experienced, very confident person.
I love it. I love it. And it's, put a 5 in the chat. She said these two words. How many of you at some point had fear and anxiety? Had fear and anxiety. Put a 5 in the chat. If you had fear and anxiety, you have it today, you had it before, you're going through it, you're growing through it. Because those two elements, what I've learned is they're very attaching, meaning like they come with you to bed, they sit with you at the dinner table. They come with you in the car. They're constantly inside of your head that you're putting into these thoughts, into these things. And there's really not even, they're not even real. But what I loved is you kept going. I think somebody said it in the chat here. You kept going. You kept moving forward. Even though it's scary as hell, you kept moving forward. Now, as you were growing through this process, and obviously you've established yourself into a very successful woman, and you continue to grow. And a lot of times, when people see us on the outside and they see you, they think you have arrived, and here I am, put my stake in the ground and I'm on top of the mountain. But as high achievers, successful people like yourself and Gary and your team and just everything that you have, you're still trying to figure things out. What is it that you're trying to figure out today? What does that version look like you today and what you're doing?
I feel like I've done a really good job of figuring out how to balance the career, with the children, with now being married just a brief amount of time, all learning to live together and work together. But I also always feel that I haven't learned enough, or I would like to know more, or I would like to
Mm.
move forward. So recently, I took on a new position. Our lender partner that we just love and adore and have known, I've known the entire time I've been in real estate, and Gary is known for almost the entire time that he's been in real estate. Had a job position come available, and I thought I was already doing partner relationships for the Ashton Real Estate Group as a member of their staff. And Ameris Bank had an opportunity to learn about mortgages, which I also feel like I know the tiny tip of the iceberg about mortgages. And when you're in real estate, it's really important to know everything and to give your clients everything that you could possibly give them. So I applied and got the position there to be the director of their partner relationships. And I'm really, really excited about it. It's a whole brand new system of learning for me. It's things that not just learning about their systems, but also learning how to use a new computer that they have for their systems that are different than mine. And it's almost starting over, but it's not starting over. I'm still doing a lot of what I have done in the past, and I still sell real estate. But instead of being on staff on the Ashton Real Estate Group, I've decided to broaden my horizons to work with the lender. I think it's important to know all of the steps in your client's journey when they're getting ready to own a house. It's also scary and anxiety ridden for your clients. And so if you can't answer basic questions about title companies and what they do, or mortgage lenders and what they do, and what each step is, I think that you're kind of doing a disservice. So I thought this will be the next step to learn all the things on the back end of that.
So you're pivoting into something that I don't want to say kind of know, but it's something new, right?
Yeah, for
How
sure.
many of you on here are trying to do something new? How many of you on here, whether I talk about new price point, a new buyer audience, a new like, well, Brock, I want to do like 12 million. Okay, we'll do $1 million homes and only do 12 sales. Well, I only do price points in 400. Like it's something new. It's you have a child, something new. Like so there's a lot of people exploring into something new. And when you were going through this, like, did you have like a process? Did you ask yourself questions? Did you use Chat GPT where you're just like, you know what? The hell with it. I'm going in. Like, how did
No,
that
it took me
process go?
the conversations went on for probably about a year about talking about possibly doing this and
Mhm.
what to do. There are just so many things because where I like to fly by the seat of my pants as far as being able to go wherever I want to go and do whatever I want to do. And a lot of people always say, I live vicariously through you. And I'm like, well, you can do that too. You can change your job if you want to. You can travel if you want to. You might not take a
Y'all
trip.
listening to this? This is really good. Say that again. Because
Yeah,
you
you
say that
can.
again.
Anybody can. And I learned from being in real estate and, like you said, from meeting new people. I said once, I feel very fortunate that I've had the opportunity to sit at tables with people who are the leaders of the world, honestly, in real estate. Gary has been to, before I was even with Gary, I was fortunate to meet the people that he would bring in and Deborah would bring in for our team to meet. Then going to conferences with Gary, I was able to meet all kinds of really, really amazing people who set the bar really high to where there almost is no, they say the sky's the limit. And I always say there is no ceiling in real estate. If you
Mhm.
want to make more money, then you will. If you want to travel, then you will. If you want to do it, then you're definitely going to do it. And so it is like you just have to take it a small little step at a time. And pretty soon you will just be there won't be a ceiling. There's no ceiling to the amount of money you can make if you have to decide what it's worth. So to me, it's not worth making millions of dollars to never see my children. So I
Mhm.
had to say, will I dial it forward or will I dial it back on everything that I do? And it is worth it to me to be able to travel. And so I always try to make sure that I can have a career that's going to let me do that. And this new career is not going to stop me from doing that. It's just going to change it into different directions. And some of the conferences I was going to for real estate, I will now be going to as mortgage, you know? And so some of the things that I had done before, it'll be similar. And it's still a little nerve-wracking to get through every little step to get to where you have to go. But
Mm.
I know within 6 months, I'll be fine at this. I'll know all of the things that I need to know to get through the day, and then I'll just have to keep learning past that. But I think really it's just knowing that you're only on this earth for whatever amount of time you're on this earth for. So saying I can't do something or staying in a job and I did not hate real estate, I loved it. But not pressing past what you've been doing to do something better is it's wasting your time and it's wasting your life. And I never want to waste, I don't like to waste even minutes in my day.
Mm.
So I don't want to waste whole years and lifetimes not taking opportunities that have been presented to me.
I love how high level people think. It's just like I say it many times, like just being so efficient with your time. You know, the most successful people have the same amount of they have the same amount of time, unfortunately, as the poor person sitting down at the corner. It's just what you do with your time, how efficient with you are with your time. How are you setting up your day? How are you planning your day? The biggest thing that I've learned probably in the last 6 months is I used to plan my day, and then I used to pray, do my devotions. And now I pray first about preparing for my day, and then I plan my day, and then I move on and I execute my day. But high level people, like you're hearing Amanda, it is like, I don't want to waste a minute. And everything is so important to you, which is like being efficient with your time. And so I loved how you said that. Um, a couple key notes I want to take, and I'll let you close this out today, Amanda. You said, I wrote down this: what we know is limited, what we don't know is limitless. And for her to be like, I wanted to learn how to do this, be a sponge, all constantly try to learn something every single day in some capacity. Take chances on things that could help you and grow you and get in the rooms, because that was the other thing is Gary helped you and gave you exposure to get in rooms. There's somebody on here all that can help you get into other rooms. It could be Amanda. It could be Michelle, John Hart. It could be anybody on here that says, hey, and you're doing a disservice if you don't invite them. It's up to them. They can say yes or no. I mean, just be like, hey, I'm going to this event. I'm going to this mastermind. I'm going here, because successful people want to help other people because they knew they needed help to get to the position and get to where they are. So I really liked how you said that. He's like, I got into more rooms. I got more exposure, and I always wanted to learn to grow. And I really just, I love that a lot. Um, as we conclude, Amanda, what's my favorite question? What's the one thing that you like to leave this audience with today as we end on this Friday? What's the one thing, everything you've had in your life, everything you've been exposed to, what would be the one thing you leave us with today?
I think the one thing that I would leave with is to make sure that you love your life in every aspect, and if you don't, to make sure that you know how to change it, or what will be the end of the part where you don't like it. So if you don't like the learning part or you don't like what you're in, could it only take just a little bit of time to get past that and then you will love it? And make sure that you actually love the life that you're living, because this is
Mm.
your life. This is what you get on earth. And so, like you said, I say prayers all day, every day. I say the same prayer repeatedly every day, all throughout the day, because I feel like that does ease my mind. And so, come up with something in your mind, what's important to you, and say that prayer every day to whoever you're saying it to, and say it to yourself and say it over and over and make sure it's good and make sure that it gives you confidence and makes you happy and make sure your life is what you want it to be, because the only person who can change a miserable life is you.
I love it. I love it. If you don't mind, would you mind ending us on your prayer that you say every day?
Sure. Dear God, thank you for this day, for giving me my life, my freedom, my children, and my husband. Please continue to guide me, give me courage, give me wisdom, give me strength. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Put an amen in the chat. All put an amen in the chat. Put an amen in the chat. Put some fives in the chat. Put some hearts in the chat. Thank you so much, Amanda, for ending it on a prayer. I really appreciate that. And thank you so much for sharing this morning and getting up early and being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me. This was a great experience.
Guys, I appreciate everybody taking time to be on our show this morning. Guys, if you want to watch the recording, it's always on. You can go to the Brock Zevan's Mindset Motivational Facebook page. You can go there and take a look at it, as well as you can go to the YouTube page. We'll have our show notes on there as well, some things that Amanda said, as well as you want. Reach out to her on her social media, her handlers. We put everything in there. Amanda, thank you. Appreciate you for being on here. Thank you all. Guys, I want you to have a safe and warm. It's actually not supposed to snow this weekend here in Charlotte, North Carolina, finally, after 2 weekends in a row. So we're supposed to have some sunny skies. I think the same for Nashville. No snow for you guys either. So it's nice being able to get out there. Guys, we'll be back 8:15, 7:15 Central Time, Monday morning. Guys, appreciate you all. Till then, see ya.